Welcome to Native Talk Arizona, presented by Native Health and KRDP 90.7 FM. Later in the show, Kim Shaw will tell us about the internship program at the Institute for Tribal Environmental Professionals, and we'll chat with Ednei Yabeny, self-taught jeweler and silversmith. But right now, host Lanasha Pawadi talks with Cassandra Scott, Tohono O'odham Community College Phoenix Center Director.
I'm host Lanasha Pawadi. Tohono O'odham Community College, or TOCC, is a 2-year college for individuals from all walks of life who want to further their education. On the phone with me is Cassandra Scott, TOCC Phoenix Center Director. Hello, Cassandra. Welcome to our show.
Hi, thank you for having me back. I greatly appreciate it.
Absolutely. And before we get started, can you tell us about yourself, your journey, and your background?
She'e haltsoin shletzen abili bashishchin twodik oja dashachade zat agni dashanella Cassandra Scott a dashajinne. I'm originally from the Navajo Nation. I grew up in the Four Corners area just outside of Gallup, New Mexico, and I moved here to the Valley almost 25 years ago to pursue my education. I'm a first-generation college graduate. I have degrees from Mesa Community College, Arizona State University, and Northern Arizona Universities. I've been in student services for over 20 years. My most recent position here as the Phoenix Center Director for Tohono O'odham Community College started a year ago in November. So I work at a campus, if you will, of TOCC located here in the downtown Phoenix metro area, serving the people here in the community in the urban areas of Phoenix, hosting in-person classes and just helping students connect to educational resources and pursuing their educational journeys.
Can you let us know or give us an overview as well of TOCC?
Yeah, absolutely. As you mentioned, TOCC is a 2-year college. We're actually a land-grant institution. We're one of the tribal colleges here in Arizona. We have 2 areas that we work with specifically with TOCC. So one of them is the site that I work with here in Phoenix, and then we have a West Campus site also in the Sells area that is more for our apprenticeship programs and for our GED and college career pathway programs for those students who are looking to complete their high school equivalencies. We also are working with San Carlos College to get them through their accreditation process. So if a student applies to San Carlos, they get a lot of TOCC information just because we're overseeing or assisting with the accreditation process for San Carlos. But our main campus is in Sells. It's about 1 hour west of Tucson on the Tohono O'odham Nation. The college was created to serve the needs and wants of the nation, to provide an educational opportunity for their students in the TO Nation. So they have great partnerships with the high schools in the area, but it's really a way to have a culturally appropriate, culturally relevant educational journey for students, because there's a lot of studies out there that say that if a student is more connected to their educational process, that they'll be more successful. So in addition to serving the nation and the residents of the Tohono O'odham Nation, TOCC is open to anyone pursuing a higher education, and all are welcome to attend, because what a great environment to be in if you can learn from one another, strengthen what you know, or be tested in what you know so that can affirm where you stand, or open your mind to many, many other aspects that are out there in the world to help you grow as a person.
And can you tell us about what kinds of programs are available?
Yeah, absolutely. So we have programs of study like any other community college here in Arizona. We have associate's degrees that can transfer to a 4-year university. So if you have an interest in becoming an educator, working in business, working in sciences, those are typically the areas that people look for when they're looking at a community college. But we also have more specific needs for the nation, such as geographic information science. We also offer an associate's in arts in Tohono studies, which also covers the language and the history of the nation. So there are those types of associate's degrees that are available. We have applied science degrees as well, which would fall in the areas of business management, childhood education, management and supervision. So those are different areas that students could get an associate's degree in, but we also have certificate programs. One of the newer certificate programs that we're looking at is developing a culinary arts certificate pathway. We have casino operations. We have certificates in solar panel installation and substance abuse and addiction studies. So there are many different pathways educationally that a student could get a credential, but we also serve as a way for students to take general education credits if they're looking to transfer to a bachelor's degree. And then we also, like I mentioned before, have apprenticeship programs in plumbing area, and then we even have the high school equivalency programs if somebody needs assistance in getting their GED or high school equivalency. So just like any other community college, we're accredited the same way as Maricopa College, Pima Community College, and CAC. So if you get C's or better in your classes, those classes are typically going to transfer to the university. It's just a different way to get started that might have a different support system that tribal students are looking for.
And are these programs offered online or in person?
So our program classes are available in person. They're also available virtually. So in person, we have classes in cells. We have classes here in the Phoenix Center. For the spring semester, for classes that start in January, we're going to have an English class and a math class and some art classes available here. And then the classes are also available online. So if you're familiar with something called a Canvas format, the classes can be delivered that way, or they're available through a Zoom format. So you get online and you get in front of the camera and you meet with your class. Your classmates might be in cells, they might be in Oklahoma, they might be, in New Mexico. Wherever you are, you can take those classes online. So I know that you recently posted our information about the spring semester and our free tuition, and there were many questions on there about how can I access classes. We are available online, so give us a call, send us an email. We can answer your questions, but we're accessible. We have students all over the nation attending TOCC.
Is there any scholarship available for books, housings, and the fees?
So as a tribal college, our students can apply for scholarships from the American Indian College Fund. Your tribal scholarships also come into play. So if you have a higher education department that you work with as an enrolled tribal member, that's available. We also encourage students to apply for their free application for federal student aid, which is going to open on December 31st. So we always encourage students to apply for that. And then we do have some resources on campus for emergency scholarships. There's no cost for books and fees for the upcoming semester. So it literally is a free education for those students who are members of a federally recognized tribe. And if you're not a tribal member or you don't have a tribal enrollment verification, the cost to attend TOCC is $34 a credit hour approximately. So if you look at some of the other public community colleges in the state of Arizona, you're looking at about maybe $75 to about $95 a credit hour. At TOCC, we're about $34 a credit hour. So it's extremely affordable for students to attend. And then, like I said, the free books and free fees for the upcoming semester So not a lot of out-of-pocket costs for students other than, those living expenses or the transportation expenses that they might incur.
Oh, yes, definitely. And if somebody isn't familiar with applying for scholarships, is that something that you guys offer assistance or guidance with as well?
All of our students are required to attend an orientation program prior to starting their classes, and a part of that orientation process is going over financial aid information and looking at resources for scholarships. And then we also have a financial aid department and an admissions department that can help guide students to resources as well. And then I'm available here in person at the Phoenix Center to assist with student questions as well.
And what advice would you give to someone who is thinking about college?
I thoroughly believe that education is a resource that can benefit many people. Many years ago, one of my mentors had mentioned to me that once a person is educated or they receive a credential, that is something that cannot be taken away from them. When you earn your high school diploma, you are forever a high school graduate. When you earn your associate's degree or your certificate or your technical training, you have that training that no one can take from you. So college is definitely a place that can be scary and can be off-putting because it's not something that our families might be used to. But when you find your place in your college or in your institution and you see that the people that are in the school and in the college and in the university are there to help you, you have academic advisors, you have recruiters, you have admissions counselors, financial aid technicians, you even have librarians and people who work in the academics area, your faculty. They all are there and they all want you to succeed. So if you're thinking about college, you're going to have a million questions, and that's okay, because that's what we're here for. If you don't ask me questions, then I have to go and do emails and meetings, and I'd actually rather talk to students and help them along their journey and see them advance and see them move on to the next level or complete their goal that they came into the college with. So if you're thinking about college, know that there are many people out there to help you, and by the time you're done and you look back, you get to see all of the different things that you accomplished, but then you become a resource for the next person, your cousin, your brother, your sister, your aunt, your uncle. Now you're the one who's the resource for those people. So I think that college is a great thing. College is a great tool. College is not for everyone, but there are many different facets of college that somebody could fit into. So I would just say start and ask questions.
Oh, yes. Thank you for sharing that, Cassandra. You had a lot of amazing stories, and kind of talking about those stories, can you tell us or share with us one of your favorite success stories?
Yeah, absolutely. So we have the ability to really connect with students here at a smaller institution. We're about the size of about 2,000 students total for this upcoming semester. Here at the Phoenix Center, we have about 200 students who are affiliated with the Phoenix Center, and we really get to know our students on an individual basis. I had mentioned before that I've been in higher ed for over 20 years, and I've worked at Arizona State University, Grand Canyon University, and even the Maricopa colleges. And in those environments, you do get to meet maybe a handful of students on a personal level, but here in the Phoenix Center and at TOCC, you really get to make a connection with students. You get to know who they are and a lot about where they come from. And one of the beauties about learning about TOCC has been learning about the O'odham culture and the O'odham language. So we had a pop-up art market where students could come and showcase their art. We had a student come and travel here to the Phoenix Center from California, and she had been attending TOCC for a number of semesters. She was one of our distance learning students who had never been to campus, got all of her help online, got all of her help over the phone, attended classes through Zoom and through Canvas, and her instructor really encouraged her to come and participate if she was able to. She walked away with just a treasure chest of information. She learned about how to set up her art market table, what kind of questions to ask the people who are hosting the event, what questions should she have available as a vendor, how should she take payments for her art, and just a number of different things that you wouldn't typically learn in a class, which that was only able to happen because the instructor, Dwayne Manuel, has a very high vested interest in the success of his students. And as we get to learn our students and see what they are capable of, we can provide different opportunities for them to be successful, to become confident, and be able to deliver, high expectations for themselves and see themselves in the community as a viable participant and showcase their beautiful artwork and, provide a means of income for themselves, but be able to do that with the support of the faculty and staff of the college. And we look for different avenues like that at TOCC to work with our students to make sure they're supported in many different facets of not just what's in the textbook and what's in the curriculum, but how can we support our students to be whole people and just be members of the community that can share their knowledge and be proud of who they are and where they come from.
Can you tell us, what are the steps to get into TOCC?
So the steps to apply are really easy. Our application is online. There's no fee for the application, and you just go online and enter all of your information. You just need to have a valid email address to set up the application, and then you submit your tribal enrollment information, your state ID or your driver's license, your high school completion, and your college transcripts, and that gets you started in the admissions process. It takes admissions a couple weeks to get back to you, but once that's started and you meet those minimum qualifications, you're admitted to the college, and then you can get started in classes. So it's a fairly easy process, and the application is available at our webpage, tocc.edu.
And is the registration open for the next semester?
So we are currently doing registration for the spring semester. So the spring semester will go from January to May. We have an admissions deadline of January 12th, which means that you have to have all of your documents in by January 12th, which is your application for admission, your enrollment info, your driver's license, and your high school completion. You need all of that in by January 12th. And then the registration deadline, which means when you sign up for classes, your registration deadline is January 19th. And then the first day of classes is actually the 16th. So the 16th of January. So you have a couple weeks to work with that. Keep in mind that some colleges are closed for winter break, but if students have questions, they're certainly free to reach out. And then soon after that, we'll open up admissions and registration for summer and for fall. So it happens fairly quickly.
Can you remind our listeners where they can go to find out more information about TOCC and how to contact you if they have further questions?
So our best resource is going to be our email for the school, which is info@tocc.edu. So any questions you have, I would start there. It's info@tocc.edu. You can also give us a call. My office number here is 480-590-3447. Or you could also reach out to the main sales campus, which is at 520-479-2300. And then any other information, including the admissions application, program information. We're even hiring for TOCC, so we have jobs posted there. Those are going to be on our webpage, tocc.edu. So I highly encourage you to reach out with any questions that you have and allow us to assist you, and encourage anyone you know who is looking to start classes or continue classes or return to classes to reach out to us and see how we might be able to fit into their plan.
Thank you for sharing all of this great information, Cassandra. I want to thank you for your time and coming back on air with us today.
Yeah, absolutely. I appreciate all that you do and the communication you get out to the community. So thank you for having me again.
Coming up, Kim Shaw will tell us about the internship program at the Institute for Tribal Environmental Professionals. Support for KRDP 90.7 FM comes in part from Native Health, with 2 locations in Phoenix, 4041 North Central Avenue, Building C, near the corner of Central Avenue and Indian School Road, and at 2423 West Dunlap Avenue. Native Health is also located in Mesa at 777 West Southern Avenue, near the corner of Southern Avenue and Extension Road. Native Health provides primary medical, dental, behavioral health, WIC, and wellness services for the urban Native American community. For more information, call 602-279-5262 or visit our webpage at nativehealthphoenix.org.
Welcome back to Native Talk Arizona, presented by Native Health and KRDP 90.7 FM. I'm host Lanasha Pawadi. The Institute for Tribal Environmental Professionals, or ITEP, strengthens tribal capacity and sovereignty in environmental and natural resource management through culturally relevant education, research, partnership, and policy-based services. On the phone to tell us more is Kim Shaw, ITEP Internship Coordinator. Hello, Kim. It's an honor to have you on our show today.
Thanks so much for having me.
And before we get started, can you tell us a little bit more about yourself?
Yes, I am rather new to ITEP. I only started here full-time in August, but I have been here in Flagstaff since 2002. I'm really excited to be here at ITEP because it's given me the opportunity to combine my work in student affairs with my passion for environmental causes. My undergraduate degree is in environmental sciences. I have minors in chemistry and biology. And then I went into education, and I worked for the federal TRIO programs for 13 years, both at NAU and Coconino Community College here in Flagstaff, serving students who were low income, first generation, and often had disabilities. My work with TRIO, Student Support Services, and Talent Search, it was a privilege to serve and learn from many Indigenous students around Northern Arizona and to travel to their homes and to their schools and become a better person because of it. I'm very grateful to continue my work serving Indigenous students and seeing the amazing work that's being done in the environmental fields through our internship programs.
Oh, wow. It sounds like you've had an amazing journey so far. Thank you for sharing that, Kim. And then diving into ITEP, can you tell us more about it?
Well, our institute, we are housed at NAU, and it started in 1992 as an air quality program through an EPA-funded grant, and it has expanded to cover almost all aspects of tribal environmental issues since then. There are over 30 full-time staff doing truly innovative and amazing work throughout the West. We have the TAM Center, which is the Tribal Air Quality Monitoring Center in Vegas. We have our Tribes and Climate Change program. We have a Brown Site program. We could spend 45 minutes talking about each one of those, so I won't dig into them too much. But again, we're an institute housed at NAU, Northern Arizona University, and we work alongside tribes around the country on the issues that are important to them. And we engage with tribal leaders and with tribal youth to make the difference and not just educate on environmental issues, but to carry forward that education to other tribes so that we all can learn together.
And Kim, I know you mentioned a little bit kind of about the programs that ITEP covers. Can you just give us like a little brief description of what each area does? Because I know you said like air quality, climate change. I know you do data management.
Yeah. Well, my role here at ITEP is to run our internship programs. And when ITEP started in 1992, part of the grant was that we were going to have internships and air quality specifically. So they began their internship programs in 1994, and they were mostly with EPA to engage young leaders in tribal air quality issues. The air quality internships have been continuing since 1994, and they've served about 100, maybe 120 students in the last 19 years, all over the country. And I really do mean all over the country. We have had interns in Alaska, in DC, and almost every other place in between. In the past couple of years, ITEP has been really, really grateful to partner with other institutions to have two other internship programs, the Indigenous Climate Change Program and the Water Resources and Land Management Program. Our Indigenous Climate Change Program seeks to work with host sites tackling tribal climate change and resilience issues. The past 2 summers, our host sites have been spread across the West, and this year we have a couple host site applications from the East Coast, and that's pretty exciting because we've not had an intern over in North Carolina, and hopefully we'll get to do that this year. And our interns are involved in some pretty amazing projects. For example, the Tribal Resilience Action Database with Adaptation International. We have been working with Tribal Alliance for Pollinators in Oklahoma to work on restoring habitat for native pollinators and native plants. And then right here in Flagstaff, we are working with the Willow Bend Environmental Center to adapt their climate change curriculum to incorporate Indigenous views and traditional ecological knowledges. So that's one of our internship programs. And our second internship program that I want to brag a little bit about because it's very exciting is our Water Resources and Land Management internships. And those internships are very specific, and they focus on water resources and land management within the Colorado River Basin. And our students now are engaged in more local issues that are impacting the water and land here in Arizona, southern Utah, southern Colorado. We have not had a project in California, but we would hope to at some point, and northwestern New Mexico. And a couple examples of those projects are we are working with the Kokopah tribe and their water quality. We've been working with the Navajo Nation Department of Water Resources and Land Management. We have been working directly with the Hopi tribe and their Department of Natural Resources. And then we have also been working with the USGS on some projects here locally that are at the USGS and the BIA Wildfire Risk Assessment at the Southwest Biological Science Center here in Flagstaff. So these water resources and land management internships really dig into the heart of what we are trying to salvage here in Arizona.
Oh, wow, that is so amazing and important work. Kim, can you tell us how many students have gone through this internship?
Since 1994, my rough calculations are about 130. Our electronic data doesn't go back that far, so I'm going to guess we're right about that. But this year, we're hoping to bring in about 30 through all of our internships, so we are continuing to grow.
And is the application open for internships?
Yeah, so our application will open up on Monday, December 11th. We just had all of our hosts apply this week, and so I am spending the week reviewing the amazing opportunities for students, and it will be on our ITEP website. If you just do nau.edu/ITEP, there's an internships tab, and it links all of it on there. One of the very cool things about our internships that sets them apart is we are paying students $20 an hour for 40 hours a week for 8 weeks of that internship. And the thing that makes it even nicer is if you're traveling away from home to be an intern with us, We're going to pay for your travel, and we are also going to provide you with a housing stipend. It's really important to us that our students feel at home and comfortable at their host site and that they're treated like family. And we want to make sure that it's equitable to students who maybe couldn't traditionally afford to travel for an internship.
Oh, wow. That sounds like it is a great opportunity. And can you tell us who can apply for these internships?
If you are a college student enrolled in college credits full-time, so 12 credit hours for an undergrad at any college or university in the spring of 2024, you can apply. You can be at a community college level, 4-year school, working on your master's, postgraduate degree. There are internship positions at all levels. Our internships have a preference for Indigenous students, but we encourage all students to apply. The only caveat is that students must be in some sort of environmental related major.
And what would you say that students would kind of learn or gain from these internships?
This is such a huge question because there's so much to gain and there's so much variety in our internships. I don't have one answer. Potentially, a student could learn anything from how to conduct complex water quality testing, how to write an EPA briefing. A student may learn that they do not want to do field work for their career, or that they truly love working with pollinators. What I can say for sure is students will gain valuable real-world work experience in the environmental field with Indigenous communities that will create wonderful connections for their future.
Kim, can you let our listeners know where they can go to find more information about upcoming internships through the Institute for Tribal Environmental Professionals, and how can they contact you if they have further questions?
We have all of our internships listed at our main ITEP website, nau.edu/ITEP, and there's a tab that says internships, and you can click in and learn about all the internship opportunities. If you want to just email me at kim.shaw, SHAW, @nau.edu, you're more than welcome to do that. That's probably the best way to get in touch with me.
Perfect. I would like to thank you, Kim, for taking time out to talk to us today, to tell us about all of these exciting opportunities you have in the ITEP internship and giving us a lot of great information.
Thank you so much for your time, and I'm happy if any of your listeners want to reach out. Thanks so much.
Up next, host Lanasha Pawadi chats with Ednei Yabeny. Support for KRDP 90.7 FM comes in part from Native Health, with 2 locations in Phoenix, 4041 North Central Avenue, Building C, near the corner of Central Avenue and Indian School Road, and at 2423 West Dunlap Avenue. Native Health is also located in Mesa at 777 West Southern Avenue, near the corner of Southern Avenue and Extension Road. Native Health's patient enrollment specialist can help you enroll, renew, or update your access information. This can be done in person, on the phone, or via Zoom, days, nights, or weekends. It's fast, easy, and can make a difference in keeping your health care coverage. For more information, call 602-285-9492.
Welcome back to Native Talk Arizona, presented by Native Health and KRDP 90.7 FM. I'm host Lanasha Pawadi. Ednei Yabeny is a master Navajo silversmith that has left an impact on the Native art world with his social media presence. He has also been in college since he was 15 years old. and has a master's degree in engineering from Arizona State University. He has consistently pushed boundaries of the Native American art world and inspired countless individuals along the way. Hello, Ednei, and it's an honor to have you on our show today.
Hi.
And before we get started, can you tell us a little bit about yourself, your journey, and your background?
Yeah, so I started jewelry making back when I was a little kid, and I was like stringing random pieces of beads together.
Oh.
And I would just sell them for like $1, $2 and just go off of that. And it wasn't until when I was in college, my sophomore year in college, I started, I got a lump sum of money out of a scholarship check. And that was when I was like, maybe I should invest this into like silversmithing. So I bought the basic silversmithing supplies. And the reason why I decided to do silversmithing was because I've always loved the Navajo jewelry and like the cluster jewelry and everything. But, you know, being a teenager, you can't afford a lot of pieces like that. So I saw a lot of these pieces as like status symbols, or like, you know, like, I don't know, it was pretty cool. But there were status symbols like in the modern world, like a Hermes Birkin or a Kelly or something like that. So I wanted to like start making those valuable items, and that was when I went to YouTube and started making jewelry from there. And that's what happened.
Oh, wow. That is so amazing. And does anybody else in your family make jewelry or are silversmiths?
So from what I've been told was that my great-grandfather learned it, and he did some pieces. Well, he did a lot of pieces, but we only have like 3 of them left in our family, but he didn't teach anybody. None of his kids know.
Oh, no.
So that's on my mom's side. And then my dad's side, so my great-grandfather was the one that also learned silversmithing. We have 2 of his pieces as well, so very antique pieces that we have, but nobody learned it. So that was also another inspiration as to why I decided to pick it up.
Oh, wow. That is so amazing. And that, yeah, like you said, it's a great inspiration for you to pick it up. So now you can carry on that legacy for your family as well and teach others in your family. So kind of starting with the basics, can you tell us more about, I guess we can talk about the designs that you make in your jewelry. Can you tell us kind of what inspires your design?
Just everyday life. If I see like 2 color schemes that I like out there in the world, then I can just memorize that and then try to bring that into jewelry. But a lot of my designs, I just think about it and like visually see it. I don't know if that makes sense, but like, I can like visually see it and then just like store it away, and then until I'm ready, then that's when I come back to that design and then use it or bring it to life.
Oh, wow, that's amazing. And you have a really unique style, because I really like how you have like kind of like a contemporary look, but also it's pretty traditional. Because I saw one of your squash blossom, it had like the masane kind of pattern in it and the colors, so that was pretty amazing. And I know you kind of go towards like the squash blossom. Is there a particular reason why you kind of like making squash blossoms?
Yeah. When I first started jewelry making, there was only a certain style of squash blossoms that were being made, and I decided to go look back into the olden times and to see how these older squash blossoms were made. So I did my research from there, and that's when I picked up like what was made back then, and I brought it back to my design table, and that's when I started making them. But the ones that I'm famous for, the all silver squash blossoms with the handmade beads. I've never seen an artist recently make the blossoms that I do, the squash blossoms that I do today, but add like a contemporary flair to it.
Yes.
So a lot of them, I don't really like the satin finishes, the vintage looking finishes that they leave on the pieces. So I rather start them off as really shiny and then have them patina and tarnish over time, so they can create a story like that.
Oh, that is very true. That is so amazing. And how long is the process of making a set? I'm pretty sure it probably takes a lot of time.
Like
a lot of planning. Yes,
like the rings
from the start.
And then
yes.
the bracelets. From start to finish, from when the customer orders and to when I set the final stone, about like 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
But I usually don't work on it straight. Like every day I just take my time and start it. But realistically, I could get a whole set done and out within 4 days.
Oh, wow. That is amazing. And do you do this full time?
Part-time.
Part-time?
Because I have to do school and everything else from there.
Oh, wow. That's amazing. How do you juggle everything, going to school and working and then doing your business of jewelry making?
I have no clue.
That is so great, though.
Yeah, it's interesting because, like, when I was an undergraduate student, I was like, oh, this is easy. I can just, like, do my assignments and then go back to jewelry and, like, you know, do that, like, have 8-hour days and just bounce back and forth between both. And then I started graduate school, and then it was kind of tougher. So with my master's degree, it was like, oh, I kind of had to set aside 40 hours a week and then do jewelry after that. And then I started my PhD program, and that was when I was like, wait. I had to spend more time with school and then work on jewelry.
Oh, yeah, definitely. And I'm pretty sure your business now has definitely evolved since then.
Yeah.
Did you kind of see your business kind of being here today from when you first started, like, watching YouTube and...
No, not at all. Because I remember when I first watched my YouTube, the first time I watched a YouTube video on how to solder silver, I was on a bus going to school, and this was in high school. So I never would have thought that I would have gotten this far within the jewelry making world. And yeah, so it's very interesting to see how time
kind of got you here. That is so
kinda
amazing. Do you ever kind of sketch out some of your pieces or have an idea beforehand?
No, not really. I just visualize it, and then I just go from there.
Do you have like a set of like the materials, and then from there kind of visualize? Oh, wow.
Yeah. So a lot of my pieces, you could tell they all use the same materials. So I already know what to get when I go on my weekly supply runs. I just like get the same thing and then go from there.
And does each piece kind of tell a story?
I feel like in my life, I go through different chapters of my life, and each piece that's brought to life within those like chapters of my life that I go through. They're made differently within every time I go from there. So like when I first started, when I first started jewelry making, a lot of my pieces had the fixed ring shank, so it was just sized with the stamp EEY. So for the first year, it was like that, and then from there, like when I started like evolving in my jewelry, like making the adjustable bands and everything. So, and like different, there's different stamps for the way I feel at the time. So that's from there. But there's one time where I was very like sad and broken and like depressed, but I still had to like make jewelry because it was my job.
Yes.
So, there's a time where the center bezel and the middle stone was created with just a plain bezel, so it was just a solid wire of silver instead of with the little teeth. And that represents the time that when I was like hurt. So
wow.
But after I got over that initial phase, that was when I went back to using the all uniform serrated bezel.
Oh, wow. So it does really kind of inspire your work. And has that, I know you said that you were kind of going through a difficult time. Did that kind of bring a more happier side to you as you were making jewelry?
Yeah. So one time I wrote about it on Facebook, and I was like, oh, I'm sad. And somebody sent me a message and said, he was another artist, another silversmith, and he said that pain makes beautiful work, like beautiful artwork. So he was like, take this time and like try to recuperate yourself and go from there and try to make like better your craft. And I was like, what is he talking about? I was just this 20-year-old. I was just like, what are you talking about? And I guess it was like just something that time would tell type of thing. But when I look back from that time, and I could see like how my designs changed and got perfected from then to now. So it was pretty cool to see that.
That is so amazing. And you mentioned how you got that advice from another silversmith. Is there any other kind of silversmith that kind of inspires you as well?
Yeah, there's quite a bit. And there was one silversmith who told me that I have a lot of potential to continue making jewelry. And to this day, he's like my best friend. But there's like probably a handful that I like communicate with and talk to on a daily. And they like inspire me. They're like my mentors type of thing.
Can you tell us more about your heart-shaped stones?
When I first started jewelry making, there was no heart-shaped stones rings that I would see out there. So that was when I decided to like perfecting it, because every heart-shaped stone was kind of like a little bit difficult to make, as it had like curves and like points and straight lines. So that was when I was like, oh, okay, well, it's a challenge. So I was like, okay, well, I can go from here and like learn from it. And that was when I challenged myself to perfect it. And so that's kind of like, I threw it in a like quote unquote love collection. So I feel like it represents like love and solidarity. Like you should give to yourself, like love yourself and everything else from there.
Oh yeah, definitely. That is such a great explanation of kind of like that era of art that you created in your jewelry. And I know just recently you were accepted in the Santa Fe art market. Can you tell us more about that experience?
Yeah. So when I first applied, I was very nervous, and I was like, I'm not good enough to go in there and like be in there. And my cousin was like, you need to apply, like apply. And I told her, I was like, I missed the deadline and they were taking late applications, but then that was when Swaya said like, oh, your late application fee is like waived. And then I was just joking with her, because like I told her, I was like, if they extend it again, then I'll apply. And they extended it again. Wow. So I was like, oh my gosh, okay. So I applied, and when they were releasing all the acceptance letters, and I saw that I was like within the top 10 that were waitlisted. So I knew that by then. I was like, okay, I have a very high possibility that I got in. And it wasn't until June was when the lady called me and she said, you got in. So I was very excited to be accepted into it, and I sold out the first day. So that was an accomplishment.
How much preparation did you have to do to prep for that?
Well, see, a piece takes like less than 3 hours to make. So like rings and all that, like I could probably knock out like 4 rings within one day, and like a necklace within 2 days. So I had that mentality from June to July, like mid-July, and then I tore my ACL and had to go through reconstruction. And then I was like, I have to get this like surgery out of the way. And I didn't start Swaya, like preparation for Swaya, until like a week and a half before I had to go. So it was an intense time.
Oh, wow. But you definitely pulled through. And like you said, you sold out on the first day. Yeah. That is so amazing. How did you feel being there with kind of all the other Native entrepreneurs and artists?
It felt amazing. Like, it felt like I was one of those, like, how would you say, well-accomplished artists. And I was just like, oh my God, this is cool. Like, I can't believe it. my little res boy heart was like,
oh, so happy.
Yeah.
Oh. And is this because you brought one of your pieces today, and you have a really unique signature in the back. How do you incorporate that in your jewelry?
What I did was I bought the stamp online. The reason why I bought my full name was because I went to a workshop with Arlen Ben, who's a Navajo silversmith as well, and he always said to put your full name on your pieces instead of your initials, because anybody with your initials could claim that. And I didn't think anything of it until I saw this article on the Navajo Times back in 2019 after I already started jewelry, and it said jewelry stamped EY is fake. And it was from like the scandal that Al Zuni went through, and that they bought a lot of EY jewelry that was from the Philippines, and they marketed it as Navajo made. So I was like, oh, I need to change my initials from there. So within that transition period, that was when I went from EY to EEY, and then I bought the stamp and started using my full name from there.
Oh wow, that is amazing. That's so crazy. But at least now you have your full name on all of your work, and also it's a great inspiration of kind of just being proud of your work, I feel like. Yeah. Well, that's so great. And do you have a favorite collection?
Well, the one that I made, my favorite collection is the all silver squash blossom, the Tufacasta one, because it's very like old style, and when you like feel it and when you wear it, it's like you can tell that like it has like a lot of weight, and it's just nice and heavy and looks vintage but brand new. I love it.
And finally, how can our listeners find more information about your jewelry, and how can they contact you if they have further questions?
So Facebook, Instagram, that's basically my two larger platforms, or email, which is just my full name at gmail.com.
Mm-hmm.
So.
And what are your social media handles?
So there's Facebook, it's my personal account, Ednei Yabeny, and then there's Instagram, which is jewelry_by_Ednei.
Okay, perfect. Well, I would like to thank you, Ednei, for coming in today to tell us about your amazing jewelry, on how you started your jewelry business, and also kind of what your future plans are.
Yeah, thanks.
Yes.
It was nice meeting you.
Thank you for listening to Native Talk Arizona, supported by Native Health and KRDP 90.7 FM. Audio editing by Javier Quiroga, and the executive producer is Susan Levy. And I'm host Lanasha Pawadi. We hope you tune in again next week. If you have any questions, please email us at nativetalkaz@radiophoenix.org.